this lesson, we're going to review the goal seek function. The goal seek function is a very useful function built into Microsoft Excel, and it has a couple of very interesting use cases. The first use case is primarily within financial planning analysis, so FP&A, and really the focus here is to determine the amount of an outcome when there's one lever to be able to pull and all other variables are kept constant. A very frequent example of this used in FP&A would be if you want to perform like a what-if analysis on certain financial model outcomes. So let's say you've got, a best case, a worst case, and a probable case scenario that you want to play with, and there's some percentage thresholds that you could use in order to vary those outcomes, or let's say there's a different budget associated with each of those outcomes, or win rate and close rate, etc. What you could do with the goal seek function is just model out those different scenarios and see what would happen if you changed the value of one item and all other variables remained constant. Another example might include determining how much money needs to be spent in order to bring a specific number of customers in through a sales or marketing funnel. Obviously, a funnel has different stages. If you're doing online advertising, then you're going to have top of the funnel metrics like how much you're going to spend to get traffic to your website. So you're going to look at things like CPA, cost per acquisition. You're going to look at cost per impression, cost per click. And then once that traffic is getting to your site and has reached your site, you're going to look at the conversion rate of that traffic. You're going to look at the cost per acquisition. And so if you wanted to perform a certain analysis on the marketing funnel and the sales funnel, and you have a bunch of different variables, the what if analysis could be used there as well if you wanted to determine what would happen if certain variables were changed. So let's review the different components of the what if function. There's really three variables and three components of the what if function. There's the set cell, to value, and by changing cell. It's actually pretty logical. The first one is the set cell. So this input is the cell which will contain the outcome that you're looking for. So let's say you want to determine what is required in order to set a cell to a specific value. Well, in that case, you're going to click on the cell that you want to change. And the next variable is to value. So what do you want to change that set cell to specifically? So that's the input of the outcome that you're looking for. And the by changing cell that's the variable that you want to play with. So that's the variable cell reference. The steps that you need to take in order to use the what if analysis function is by going to the data section of the top ribbon, clicking on the what if analysis, and then going to goal seek. So I've got some print screens here that show those steps. Again, first you click on data, then goal seek, and then what's going to happen is the goal seek inputs are going to appear with the specific variables that we had just gone through. So you have the set cell, to value, and by changing cell inputs. Once you plug in all of those, you hit OK, and Excel will do the rest, and it'll tell you the amount that you need to change the set cell to. Let's go through an example here. So in our example, ABC Inc. has set up 4 different marketing landing pages to drive traffic to. These 4 different campaigns are managed across 4 different marketing channels. They use Facebook, an affiliate marketer, YouTube, and Pinterest. The company is evaluating these marketing spend channels, which have different cost per click metrics, conversion rates, product selling prices, and profit margins. And this is not really an uncommon case. If you're involved in the marketing of an online e-commerce store or anything else for that matter these days, if you're just trying to drive traffic to your website, then you're probably exploring a bunch of different channels to drive that traffic. It's very unlikely that you're just using one channel to drive traffic. In this example in particular, We know that channels 1 and 3 generate 2.7 to 3.0 leads per $100 spent on marketing. And that is represented in cells D and F46. As you can see, it's about 3 to 2.67 here. And the company is engaged in discussions with an affiliate marketer who can drive traffic to the company's website. The affiliate is offering a lower cost per click compared to the other traffic sources, and they're offering 50 cents per click, and they promise to get higher traffic. However, the conversion rate is unknown and untested. The company is wondering what conversion rate is needed on the affiliate channel if they want to spend $100 and achieve the mean rate of leads compared per $100 compared to the other channels, i.e. 2.85. So if you look at the average of channels 1 and 3, then it's really around 2.8. You've got Facebook driving traffic, which results in 3 leads per $100 spent. You've got YouTube driving traffic. It's about 2.7 leads per $100 spent. The average of those two is about 2.8, and that's what the target is for this affiliate network, or at least the break-even point. And so the company will monitor, it says here, the company will monitor the conversion rate used throughout the month in order to determine whether it is being met to achieve the leads goal of 2.85. So if you look at the table here, we've got some metrics for Facebook, the affiliate network, we've got YouTube, and we've got Pinterest. So let's take a look at each of these in detail. The selling price is actually currently $50 on each of those channels. We've got a cost per click of $1 for Facebook. We've got a conversion rate of 3% on Facebook traffic, and the marketing budget is $100 for all platforms. The leads generated per $100 is 3 leads per $100 on Facebook. It's 2.7 on YouTube. And on YouTube, the cost per click is a little bit higher than Facebook at 1.5. The conversion rate is 4%, and the marketing budget is constant across all of them. So if you're to look at things just based on these metrics, try to decipher which one's most efficient, well, you could argue that Facebook is the most efficient because it's driving the most leads per $100. Of course, you want to look at how much traffic is being driven through these platforms as well, but all else being equal, Facebook is more efficient than YouTube. Now, what does the company need to achieve in terms of a conversion rate in order to get in order to generate 2.8 leads per $100 spent? Well, in order to figure that out, we can use the what if analysis scenario manager up here, the goal seeker. So what we'll do is we'll click on the top ribbon here. We'll look at the what if analysis. We'll click on goal seek, and then we'll fill in these variables. For the first variable, set cell, we want to set cell E46, which is the leads per $100. And the to value will be 2.85 because that's what the company wants to determine. And by changing cell, we'll input cell reference conversion rate. Then we'll click OK. And as you can see, the goal seek has completed. The target value has been achieved at 2.85. We can click OK. And the conversion rate states 1.425%. So what happened here? Well, the leads per $100 also updated because that's just a formula cell that we had used. But the conversion rate, that was just a blank cell before, but now it has actually inputted a percentage, which Excel did for us. We could have backed into that manually using formula or trial and error, but because we knew of the goal seek formula, it was able to determine that rate for us. As a result, the solution is that the company needs to achieve a 1.425% conversion rate on all traffic that is generated and sourced through the affiliate network in order for it to generate 2.85 leads per $100. Obviously, if the conversion rate ends up being a little bit higher than 1.425%, then the leads per $100 will increase. But if the conversion rate ends up being a lot lower and there's a lot of poor traffic that comes from the affiliate network, then the leads per $100 will be less than its goal. And this is something that the company can then monitor during the month. It can see, what's the conversion rate of the traffic, and maybe they can make a decision early on once they start to see the traffic if it's meeting their expectations. Alternatively, they can now go back to the affiliate network and have conversations with them and say, hey, before I make a purchase of traffic from you, can you give me an idea of a typical conversion rate that you would expect to see on a website like ours based on the clientele that you have? Let's look at another example here. In example 2, the company is considering bidding on traffic on Pinterest and wants to know what the cost per click limit should be set at in order to achieve $2.85 per lead again. In this fourth channel here, we have it set up in the table, and the company expects a conversion rate of 2%, which is already inputted into the table here. And that's based on past experience with Pinterest. So the company knows that they should be able to achieve a conversion rate of 2% of all traffic that's generated from Pinterest. The marketing budget is $100. The selling price is $50. So it seems like a lot of the variables are consistent with the other channels. The only difference is the conversion rate, and the company doesn't know what it needs the cost per click to be in order to achieve 2.85 leads per $100 again. So again, what we can do is we can go to the what if analysis. We can click on goal seek. And what we can do is we can set cell G46 to 2.85. And we can do that by changing this blue cell here, the cost per click. And Excel does the rest for us. We click OK. And it turns out that in order to achieve 2.85 leads per $100 spent, then we need to be able to achieve a cost per click of 70 cents. And this is valuable on Pinterest because let's say Pinterest will give us the opportunity of setting a max cost per click in our bids. Well, if we know that our break-even point or our max based on our goal is 0.7, then we can go into Pinterest and we can set that limitation. We can tell Pinterest, look, we're willing to spend, an uncapped amount of dollars. However, the cost per click needs to be 0.7. We'll spend $10,000 a month or $50,000 a month on marketing budget, but the cost per individual click needs to be at 0.7 for us to be able to achieve our funnel goals. Let's take a look at one more example here, example number 3. In this example, we have a student's results for his first 4 semesters here in this table. And we're wondering how much does his GPA need to be in the 5th semester in order to maintain a cumulative GPA of 3.75. And so as you can see, his GPA in semester 1 was 3.68, semester 2, 3.81, semester 3, 3.75, and semester 4, 3.58. And so what we're going to do here is we can actually see that his average GPA cumulatively through semester 4 is 3.71. He wants to achieve a 3.75. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the goal seek function here to determine what the semester 5 needs to be in order to achieve the 3.75. So if you look down here at the required average, I'm actually going to change this. I'm going to go to goal seek. This is actually a formula right now, and it's taking the sum of the GPA and it's dividing it by 5 because we've got 5 semesters. And so in order to use the goal seek here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just set cell required average to 3.75. And we're going to do that by changing cell 5th semester. I'm going to click OK, and Excel does the rest for us. So it turns out that he needs to achieve a 3.93 GPA in the 5th semester in order to achieve a cumulative GPA of 3.75 across the 5 terms. Now, another thing to keep in mind when you're using the goal seek function is that you always want to have one formula set up. So in this case, we used the average, and it was a calculation formula field. And so the only variable that was really outstanding as part of the analysis was the 5th semester. That's important because the goal seek works in a way in which you are only changing one variable in order to determine the outcome. So I hope by reviewing these 3 examples, you've learned how to use the goal seek and you can now apply it in your financial planning and analysis activities. Hey guys, thanks for watching this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe from you. And if you want to learn more about Microsoft Excel, check out these videos above. And don't forget to check out our website, commercecurve.com, where we have lots of in-depth finance and accounting courses available with full training workbooks. All of our courses come with complete workbooks of lessons, examples, pre-built financial models, and training video. Hope to see you there.